Archon Studio was nice enough to send me some of their terrain from their most recent campaign on Game Found right now. It is dungeons and lasers, encounters. Specifically, they sent me some of the terrain from the Elven Woods set to sprue a very detailed and durable terrain bits. Excellent for just throwing on a grid table for some quick encounters. Perhaps when you didn't know the party was going to go to the Elven Woods in the first place. But if you have scattered terrain like this, it's easy to throw it on the table, and there you go. They also sent me the Ghost Dragon, which I will review in a future video. It looks really interesting. So the terrain themselves is, if you've ever had a Dungeons and Lasers product, it's the same type of sprue, very tough. Very durable. I'm going to whack it on the table very hard a bunch of times, and then throw it on the table a couple times. And you know what? There are products out there that cannot deal with this kind of punishment, but Dungeons and Lasers stuff is very durable, which is very important for someone like me who does run games in the public sphere. Also, cleaning up lines left over after trimming off the sprue is actually very easy. With this is actually much easier than some of their dungeon tiles stuff. So yeah, a quick spray paint. I'm just doing this in a very light white to try to get the most, because I'm going to do this in two ways. One of the sets, I'm going to do all the painting stuff with the details, dry brushing, and then touching up multiple times. And the other one is going to be just simple, like 3 steps. 2 of them I'm going to paint with the new Army Painter Quick Paint, and 2 of the miniatures I'm going to paint with watered down paint that's been diluted with Flow Improver, so that way you get a nice contrast when it dries. Now, of course, people familiar with painting will understand that the one on the left is the one that I did more steps with. Clearly, the biggest thing that comes out is the dry brushing that I did on the rocks. Even though this is still a very simple paint job, it really looks fantastic from like 3 feet away. Because remember, even though you're looking at it really close while you're painting it, everybody who's going to be playing the game is going to be seeing it from several feet away. So frankly, I think you don't have to do a really fancy job with this stuff. But they say this stuff is very easy to paint, because the stuff on the right, the uber simple stuff with very limited steps, that still looks really nice. In fact, I would say that, I don't think anybody would be disappointed to be playing a game on a table with either steps. Again, you can see I went through the steps of giving it a base coat in gray, dry brushing, painting the flowers a nice blue color, and then highlighting little bits of the terrain there. Looks great, but yeah, Army Painter Quick Paint doesn't look bad on this stuff at all. A nice, just even, well, not even. I just kind of slopped it on there of the Army Painter Quick Paint purple, and then a little bit of dry brushing of the grass and picking out of some of the details, and some more dry brushing. So 4 steps compared to roughly like maybe 8 steps in the one to the left. They look really great. I was going for like a weird color scheme for both. Even though the blue, even though it does seem kind of wonky at first, it looks natural on the table, especially with the orange flowers. And the purple, man, let me tell you, the diluted paint on the purple, that turned out really nice looking. And I did some nice greenish flowers on there, so that could be like a weird, bizarre bog, or maybe something in the Underdark. Because these were designed with play in mind, there are a ton of little spots where you can set up miniatures so it fits just naturally on a grid without it being like very specific, like, oh, this is a grid and this goes there. So it's natural, but it has a lot of play space in mind. So that's just a very well-designed product overall. And here you have the blue piece. I was just trying out something special. But yeah, I was really happy how this looks. I was very disappointed in the flowers. Apparently, painting flowers is one of my weak points, but when you look at them from far away, they look pretty okay. And of course, with these scenes, you can easily set up any sort of scenario that you see fit. There you see one of the previous Dungeons and Lasers dragons there. Yeah. Setting up on a grid like this, obviously, the potential is endless. And they do stack a little bit, which is nice for the larger pieces. I must say that, on the shelf, sometimes you don't want to have like a ton of shelf space being taken away by stuff like this. So this saves a little bit. So that's nice. The little pieces don't stack up very well, but you know what? That's fine because they're small enough anyway, so they're not going to take up a bunch of space. So remember, folks, if you're interested in this terrain, the Game Found is active right now. Go to the link in the description to see all the stuff that's available on there. The Game Found campaign is not over yet, and already the starter pledge is an amazing value. And hey, don't forget, if you get the starter pledge, you get the Tarrasque with that. Yes, you get one of the Tarrasque miniature kits. This is pretty amazing because that's, I don't know the actual conversion right now, but it's 99 euros, which is very close. It's a little bit more than $100, and they're throwing in a Tarrasque miniature with that pledge on top of a bunch of amazing miniatures, amazing terrain. It's really astounding the kind of value that you're going to get from something like this. And yeah, if you're just starting off, if you're interested in learning how to paint, I think this would be an excellent thing to invest in the future for. And yeah, these guys are Archon Studio. They've done several of these massive campaigns. Everything is made in Poland, so, there's less worry about stuff coming from different places. Yeah, I've just been incredibly happy with all the stuff that they've done so far, and I am so thankful that they decided to sponsor my channel. If you can support them, then that link is in the description. Hey everybody, it's to that time in the video where I chat randomly until this video is long enough for YouTube to actually show it to my subscribers. Today we're going to be taking a look at this lovely terrain as I talk about the pamphlet of unusual and useless magical items. This is a small little pamphlet that I did. It is 7 pages of somewhat useless but still potentially game-breaking magical items. And the item that I'm going to talk about today, by the way, if you want to buy this, it's $1 right now on the DMs Guild. The easiest way, if you're very interested, is to search Pamphlet of Unusual and Useless Magical Items in the DMs Guild, and I might link it, but yeah. You can also just look up Unusual and Useless Magical Items, and if you see the picture of the Dwarven Battle Bread, then you're in the right spot. Today's item that we're looking at today is Aries Instant Outfit. Now, this is kind of a somewhat useful or useless magical item. It basically is a simple woven fabric belt, which magically transforms itself into a random set of clothing. And we will roll the dice right now and just see if we get anything interesting. Right now it's a D10. I think I'm going to do an advanced version of this magical item, which is much more clothing choices. But let's roll a D10 and see what we get. We got a 10! Oh my god. So, that means that the set of clothing produced is Royal Raiment, including expensive noble clothing and a silk hat. So again, perfect for the D&D party that is trying to sneak into a fancy party or a noble establishment if they don't happen to have enough noble clothing. Let's give it one more roll and see what else it could provide. This is one of those weird one-use magical items, so once it's been used, it kind of you just have a set of clothing and you no longer have the magical item. It's similar to the walking stick that turns into a sword type thing. Another D10, and I got a... yeah, another 10. That's wild. Maybe this online dice roller is broken. Let's a third time. A 2. There we go. Something else. With a 2, you get workman's common clothing with a hammer secured in a strap and a small bag of 20 20 iron 2-inch nails. So obviously that could be very useful in a dungeon if you have wooden doors and you've run out of spikes to spike the door shut, or perhaps you didn't think to get the spikes in the first place. There's just a bunch of stuff you can do with hammer and nails. And of course, dressing up like a workman, that's just one of those outfits where you can pretty much walk in anywhere and nobody will pay you any mind, because obviously the nobleman is just having something worked on. So I remember the old story of somebody saying, if you're just carrying a ladder, they'll just let you in anywhere and nobody will question it. Maybe that was more of a thing in the 90s when we were all much more innocent, but yeah. So there you have it, a couple of rolls on the Aries instant outfit. Just one of the items in the small pamphlet, the pamphlet of unusual and useless magical items, available on the Dungeons Masters Guild right now. And that is designed, that is written by me. And yeah, there are definitely a bunch of weird items on here, which definitely could be game-changing, even though they are written to be mostly oddities. But you never know with players. As I said, I've had the experience of players utilizing these items in ways that I never expected. So fair warning, these items might be game-breaking in the hands of a devious player controlling an equally devious player character. Hey everybody, thanks again for watching the video. I'm going to be doing some more, maybe some lore videos. I don't know, those seem fun. People seem to be interested in those. When Steely Dan does a bunch of stuff there, then all of a sudden people really like it. So yeah, I'll have to see. Plus I want to do more stuff with Kringle the puppet. And I kind of want to do a look back at a weird series that may have inspired me to become a librarian. I'm talking about Tomes and Talismans. Alright, I will see you all later.